that makes the ego to become more alive, and the conditions that makes the ego to become more weak. Fasting is one of those things that makes the ego to become more weak. Then the ego is always moving. It never sleeps. It cannot go this way, it goes this way. It cannot go this way, it goes this way. And it's all happening from the inside. It's not happening from outside, the ego. Which is why it is a bigger enemy than shaitan. So fasting is one of the conditions that will make you to stop the fire that you're causing to yourself. One is not putting those things there, because you asked me the question, how do I take out the fire? It's a fire that we make to ourselves. How do we take out the fire? And I'm saying, instead of asking how you take out the fire, you should ask first, what are the conditions that you put there for that fire to become alive? This is what tariqat is, to understand what are those conditions. And if you've been with us for some time, you know that there's nothing that the ego does that is original. Only Allah is original, you understand? Every time it is new. Ego does same thing over and over again. It may have hundreds and thousands of tricks, but you see there is a pattern. There's always a pattern. So if you understand what that pattern is, and you say, I have to break it. What they say, you break the cycle, you break the wheel, break the cycle, something, yeah. Yeah, you guys sleeping also. So you understand and you break it, and then it will not happen. Like I said, a physical fire, let's say you need, I talk very simple, wood, you need gasoline, and you need a match or something to make it to catch fire, you understand? It has to have proper conditions. If you change those conditions, the fire will not catch. If you soak the wood in water, you pour gasoline, you light, it will not match, it will not catch. If you bury the wood that is dry and you pour gasoline, and it still will not catch. So many things. You can come up with so many things now to stop those ideal conditions to make a fire to come out. The same thing with your ego. And here we're supposed to study what those conditions are. You must know what those conditions are. Because the ego is the same. It repeats itself. Especially now, if you have people that you are close to, your families or your best friends or your siblings or whatever, those are the ones who knows how to press your buttons. And you know that you always have this cycle, same thing, over and over again. And you know what those things are. Maybe if you are a teenager, you cannot control it. You cannot control. There's wood, there's gasoline, and there's match. You must pour and you must light it up. But you're past teenage life. You enter into your 20s, you enter into your 30s, you enter into your 40s. Now, these three things will not happen if you don't put them together. So now you must be smart enough to say that, no, I cannot put all those conditions there together for this fire to come out. So many times, Shaykh Efendi is saying what? If you get angry, walk away. Just walk away. That is a big marifat, because people don't know how to walk away. Because somebody says something, and then you must answer back. You must. Men and women, young and old, husbands and wives. Same thing, because ego has completely taken over then. It is not intelligence. It is not your spirit. It is not intelligence to say, okay, there is a problem, how are we going to solve it? The ego is just saying, okay, you put fire to me, I'm going to put fire to you. There's not intelligence. That's not coming from the spirit. That's coming from shaitan, which is exactly what shaitan said. They caused me to do this, to be separated from you. They caused me to be disobedient to you. they cause me to enter into the fire, I will make them to enter into the fire with me. They give fire to me, I give fire to them. Is what he said to Allah. So you're studying yourself to understand what those conditions are. When you're fasting, you must know. That's why you don't fast like an intelligent person, like a believer. Don't fast like an animal. Fasting is not just food, water you don't drink, other activities you don't do. But it is a time where you pull back and you are going to look at yourself. You're going to think yourself a little bit. For 1400 years, Ramazan is a time for a whole month that the whole ummah. You're talking about millions and millions of people. All of them at the same time, they take a break from dunya. They engage in worship and in fasting and in fixing themselves. In a time when it is the easiest to fix yourself. The time of Ramazan, the time when the rahmat is raining every day. Not the most difficult times. Easiest time. And Ramazan is supposed to clean us so that we enter into a state of fitr. As I said yesterday, if you don't enter into a state of fitr, how are you going to make the qurban? 70 days after fitr. If we know that we cannot choose an animal that is sick, too old, handicapped for qurban, that we must pick the perfect, beautiful animal that our great-great-grandfather Adam alayhi salam, his son Habil, when Allah is asking for a sacrifice, he picked the best. When Allah is asking for Qabil, he picked just the scraps. Habil was, let's say, a shepherd. The most beautiful ram took, and he gave the biggest one. And Qabil was planting. And he says, I work so hard planting. Why he needs it? I get a good harvest, things that's just put on the ground, that's just spilling on the ground, I'll take that and I'll give it. It's not accepted. 3 times Allah asked. 3 times Allah gave him a chance to correct himself. He didn't. More stubborn, and more stubborn he became. So if we are, what kind of qurban we're making? What kind of sadaqah we're making? What kind of zakat we're making? What kind of prayers we're making? What kind of help we're giving to people? Giving people scraps here and there. Whether it is your time, or your caring, or your money, or anything, giving that is not real qurban. The qurban is something that you love and you want to share. This is also lost because now Islam has become ritualistic. It's just a ritual. Fast, okay, you stay away from food and drink. It doesn't matter nighttime what you do, doesn't matter what you do after. Now, there are people who dare to say, Ramazan time, we put on more weight because we eat more. Then what is the point? The whole point is so that you're not so reliant on your stomach, because your stomach, it is the house of diseases, as the Prophet ﷺ say, and it is what is going to make you to wake up or to go to sleep. You're filling yourself up like that. How are you going to do Qiyamul Layl? So understanding the conditions is why we're entering into tariqat, because we may not understand. But from an outside person, they say, oh, these things, it's a pattern. You always go through like this. First, you say this, that one says this, and then it leads to this, and then it becomes this, over and over again. Do you want to break it or you don't want to break it? Like Shaykh Efendi is saying, first thing, just walk away. Second thing, there are other things. There are more things. To stop yourself, to stop this fire. Once the fire is on like that, everything is burning, that's the time you want to put it out. It's too late. It's too late. Now, if you're intelligent enough and you've been doing this for years, you know, if I take one step in this direction, the end is over there. If I take this step, the end is over here. And you always know, if you're watching yourself, you come to a point, like they call it a crossroad, a split in the road. Okay, he's saying this, she's saying this. Okay, trying to be patient. But if I do this, it's going to end up like this, because it always does. That is the time. How you're going to stop the fire? By using your will. That will that Allah has given you, the will that is from Allah. With us, with our anger, we get so blinded by it. Opportunity given to us, will burn everything. You build a marriage for years, for that split second that you're angry, you say, forget it. Friendships, the same. Families, same. Work, same. Everything. Then there are cultures that say, no, you have to be. This shows that you have honor. To be angry. You must hit back. Is Allah showing His anger to us? He is angry, yes, by what is happening, but is He showing His anger? If He's showing His anger, you think would spend one single second still breathing? He's not showing His anger. Yes, He is angry at what we are doing. And Allah is saying, I wish to show my mercy more than my anger. So understand what those conditions are. Just like that one, bringing a candle to a saint and saying, where does this fire come from? And that saint blew out the fire and says, how you make the candle? And you say, now where the fire? And that saint is saying, now tell me where the fire originally comes from. Who is the one who's making the fire? Yes, it is Allah, but He has given us that. Where does it come from? That one is asking. The saint is saying, where has it gone to? Understand? Now we need to know how we make that fire to happen and where that fire is going to. When you understand that the fire is coming from nothing. Inshallah. That way you can break, otherwise you cannot. If you don't break the cycle, whatever you put inside, one day it's just going to break. Everything is going to fall apart. Praying so much, you say the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person, everything will be cancelled. So be careful. I'm warning certain people, and they're still continuing. It's a big problem there. This much is enough. وَمِنَ اللَّهِ تَوْفِيقٌ الْفَاتِحَةِ.